Hello everybody. So I got the day off from work today because it snowed last night. This is my last week for the season in landscaping until next spring if I want to go back again. And but today everything was covered in snow, and so we didn't work. Sitting around here not really doing anything other than checking out the stock market and boring stuff like that, watching the occasional video. So I thought, you know what the hell, let's just do a video. So I'm doing this on my iPhone 7, and so what should I talk about? Well, I've had some people wanting to know about how it's going with my diet. I'm, as you probably know by now, I'm no longer vegan. I guess you could say partially vegan, but I don't even want to say that because it gets some vegans upset, because there's no such thing as being part-time vegan or anything like that. You're either vegan, and that's 100% plant-based, no animal products whatsoever, or you're plant-based. And so I am plant-based. In fact, I would consider myself plant-based omnivore, because I believe as humans we are omnivores. We're not frugivores, we're not herbivores. We are omnivores, and there's plenty of evidence to support that in nature. So what do? As I have mentioned in other videos, I decided to go back to eating meat again, preferably wild game like venison, duck, wild sockeye. Whatever I can get in the marketplace that is legitimately wild, and you have to go to special stores to find that, or farmers markets, but you can find it. It's expensive, but I'm only eating these foods once a week. So when you look at it that compared to a regular meat eater who eats meat every day, I think it pretty well balances out. The rest of the week, I'm eating pretty much vegan, 100%, or plant-based, and it's working out fine. Somebody asked me, have I noticed any improvements? And I wouldn't say there's been any kind of magical transformation that has occurred from this. I just feel like I'm eating a balanced diet and I'm getting all the nutrients that I need now, where I felt like after doing veganism for 9 years that there could possibly be deficiencies, and there were symptoms that were indicating that with regards to omega-3 deficiency. And I've talked about that in other videos, so I don't need to go over the same stuff again here. But I think it's been a very good decision to make, but it's not something that, in terms of marketability, it's not the most, exciting thing to try to market to people out there. Become a plant-based eater. Even, like you can say, I'm a vegan. It's easy to say. You throw it out there, and most people knows what that means today. It means and it represents somebody that's a little bit on the radical side, that's doing something outside of the status quo. And so that, has a certain appeal, especially to young people who want to break out of the conformity that they've been brought up in. And so I wouldn't want to take that kind of thing from young people. And I do encourage people to go vegan, even though I think ultimately it's not in the long term, it's not sustainable, that you will have to at some point return back to animal products on some level to ensure that you're getting all your nutrients. But when I see the other extreme of where people are consuming large amounts of animal products, I mean ridiculous amounts of animal products, and where they can't even think of a meal without some kind of animal product in that meal, that's another extreme. And so to counterbalance that, I would encourage such people that are in that place to give it a break. Go vegan, you know. I've heard people say that, you know, veganism is not the magic diet that's going to solve all your problems, and a lot of people that have gone vegan haven't really noticed any great changes in their lives. I can't say the same for myself. I know that at the time that I became vegan, I guess I was in my late 40s, and I wasn't in the healthiest place at that time. Becoming vegan saved my life as far as I'm concerned. And yes, I had that kind of vegan born again experience. Literally, like, it was a true transformation. And I did experience, the only way I can describe it is to call it detox, you know, even though that is a controversial term and its legitimacy is questionable. I had something going on there that was what was releasing some kind of crap from my body that was having a profound effect on me at the time. And that was when I started following a particular vegan diet, which was, at that time was a low-fat vegan diet, and exercising. I was like, literally, when I would go on the treadmill and sweat heavily, my sweat was coming out this brownish black color, like coffee stains. And that went on for about a month. And during that time, I felt terrible at times too, like I was about to faint, and just all this weird stuff going on in my body. But at the same time, I was losing a ton of weight. So the only thing I can, say was that with my fat cells shrinking, they were releasing all these stored up toxins. I think there's some, grounds to that. At least that's what I felt like I was experiencing. I was losing weight quickly and releasing all these toxins literally through the pores of my skin. And after that, I felt fantastic. I lost a ton of weight and I was feeling on top of the world for the longest time. Now, eventually that all gets normalized, and then as time went on, I got into some more extreme versions of veganism, like fruitarianism. Well, actually, prior to that, it was the high raw diet. So getting into the whole raw food thing and experimenting with that, and even though now I eat in a balanced way, I would not discourage anybody for even trying out these extreme diets. Like, they're fun to do, they're fun to try out, but you got to have, I think, a strong center in order for you to be able to go out into these extremes and come back again to your core of yourself and not get lost in those extremes. And this is what unfortunately happens to a lot of people. They get lost in those extremes. They become those extremes. And I was able to, when I found myself going too far or too close to that edge or that point of no return, I was able to pull myself back. So now here I am. I'm just basically eating a plant-based diet 6 days out of the week, and on the 7th day, I'm a carnivore. I eat meat, I eat cheese, I eat eggs, whatever. And I try to avoid, with great diligence, any form of factory farmed food. Because I do not agree with what is happening in industrial farming and of livestock, and how animals are raised in those environments. It's horrible. Now, regardless of what I say, a ethical vegan is going to be still on my case about the fact that I'm still killing sentient beings in order for my own selfish benefit, right? And yes, it's true. And I'm not going to even try to justify it. I'm not going to try to give a logical argument as to why it's okay. It just is. And it is throughout nature. And we are omnivores. We have always been omnivores. There's nothing in the history of humanity to prove otherwise. And in nature, I mean, you will not find, like, for example, amongst the chimpanzees and various kinds of monkeys out there, you will not find a purely vegan lesser primate. And they either eat insects or they eat fruit bats. There's chimpanzees that literally go through a great extent of trouble. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but they go through a lot of trouble basically to hunt out these little rodents that live in the trees. I forget the name of them now, but they make these spears, and they just, you know, they find a hole in the tree and they just shove these branches in there that they've made into spears to devour these little rodents and eat them. Yeah, nature's cruel, right? Nature's brutal, but this goes on all the time, and we as humans are not exempt from that. Now, you could argue that, you know, as being conscious and aware that we should rise above this, and I would say that would be fine if we really did not need the animal products in our diet to some degree. I don't think we need a lot, but it's like, for me, animal products are not a staple in my diet. They are a supplement. They are providing me with easy to digest nutrients that I may not be getting as well in plant foods, like omega-3, for example. But there's other nutrients as well. Anyhow, so that's really it. There's nothing exciting about this. It's just, you know, it's the way I've been eating. I've been following the same diet while I'm working out in landscaping, and everything's been fine. Most of the time at work, I eat plant-based very rarely. On some rare occasions, I brought in a can of wild suckeye and had it for lunch. But no, for the most part, it's been, actually, in landscaping, I basically have been eating a lot of hummus on sourdough bread with some lettuce and then fruits as well, a lot of fruits. So that's basically it for where I'm at with how I eat. The thing is, I'm not really thinking a lot about it, so I can't show this great enthusiasm about what I'm doing. It's kind of nice that I'm not preoccupied with food. It's just like, this is what I eat. I've come to the place where I want to eat healthy. I don't have to make an effort into eating healthy. I don't like eating junk food. Not to say I don't have the occasional indulgence, but to not eat whole plant-based foods on a regular basis would be serious deprivation for me. But also not to be able to have a little bit of animal product, like my wild venison that I love, once a week also would be deprivation for me. So it's just a balance, and I know it's not exciting, it's not dramatic. Oh well, it works, it's practical, and it can work in anybody's life. I mean, that's the thing about extreme diets. They're fine if you're not actually working, you know, like you have to go out and do a 9-to-5 kind of thing. I mean, if you're on permanent vacation, yeah, you can spend all your time focusing on making sure you get enough bananas in one day or whatever. But for most people, that's just not realistic. And there's the financial side too. Anyhow, yeah, what else? I think that's about it for now. I don't, where am I going with this channel? I don't think I'm going to be spending a lot of time talking about food, there's really not much I have left to say about veganism. It's a done deal for me. It's finished. I could decide one day to, hey, maybe I'll go the next year not eating meat. that could be a choice, but it's not a vegan choice. It's just something that I want to do for whatever reason that may be. That's it. Take care. Have a great day. See you soon.